The Beggar Who Became a Merchant, a story of transformation. The morning sun cast a golden glow over the bustling city streets, its warmth seeping into the sidewalks and the faces of the people walking by. It was a day like any other, filled with the hurried footsteps of businessmen in press suits, mothers pushing strollers, and the ever-present hum of life moving forward. Among the crowd, an older gentleman, William Carter, walked briskly through the city square, his well-tailored navy blue suit marking him as a man of means. He had always been a practical man, one who believed in hard work and the power of personal responsibility. As he approached the train station, his sharp eyes landed on a man standing near the entrance, a man he thought he recognized. The stranger was well-dressed, with a crisp white button-down shirt, neatly pressed slacks, and polished brown leather shoes. He carried a small briefcase in one hand and a bouquet of fresh roses in the other. There was something striking about him, an air of confidence that radiated from his posture. William furrowed his brow, trying to place him, and then, like a lightning bolt, it hit him. "Wait a minute," William said, stopping in his tracks. "I know you, don't I?" The other man turned, his dark eyes flickering with recognition, before a warm smile spread across his face. "Yes," the man nodded. "You do." William took a step closer, his mind racing back to a time not too long ago. "You're the beggar, the one who used to sit by the fountain, asking for spare change. I remember, I refused to give you money once." He paused, recalling another encounter. "And then later, I bought a few flowers from you. But now, look at you. You're dressed like a businessman. What happened?" The man chuckled softly and extended his hand. "My name is Thomas Reed," he said firmly. William shook his hand, still in disbelief. "Yes," Thomas continued, "I was that beggar. I used to sit on that cold stone bench every morning, watching people pass by, hoping someone would spare me a few quarters. But you taught me something that changed my life." William raised an eyebrow. "I did," Thomas nodded. "You refused to give me money. At the time, I was angry, frustrated. But then, the second time we met, you didn't hand me a few coins out of pity. Instead, you bought flowers from me. You didn't see me as a beggar. You saw me as a man selling something of value. And that changed the way I saw myself." William stood silent for a moment, absorbing the words. Thomas smiled as he continued. "That night, I thought long and hard about what you had done. I realized I wasn't just a beggar. I was a businessman. I had been sitting there waiting for charity, when all along I had something to offer. Those flowers weren't just handouts. They were goods I could sell. And if I could sell a few, why not more?" His voice grew stronger, filled with a quiet pride. "I took the few dollars I had and bought more flowers. I found a small shop that was willing to let me set up a table outside their door in exchange for sweeping their sidewalk each morning. Soon I was selling more than just flowers. I was selling joy, beauty, and small moments of happiness to the people who walked by." He lifted the bouquet he was holding. "These flowers aren't just petals and stems. They're opportunities. They're proof that a man can change his fate." William was speechless. He had always believed in self-reliance, but to see it unfold so dramatically in front of him was astonishing. Thomas continued, "From that small table, I saved up enough to rent a tiny shop. It was nothing fancy, just 200 square feet, but it was mine. Every morning I'd wake up at dawn, drive out to the wholesalers, and handpick the best flowers. Over time, people started coming back, not just for the flowers, but because they knew me. They knew my story, They wanted to support me, and now he took a deep breath, his chest swelling with pride. Now I own 3 floral shops across the city. I employ 6 people, and I'm on my way to another town to open my 4th store. William let out a low whistle. That's incredible, Thomas nodded. And it all started with a change in mindset. I learned a rule that day, a rule that I live by now. We only receive when we give. I was so focused on taking, on what I didn't have, that I never thought about what I could offer. But the moment I started giving, the moment I offered something of value, the world gave back to me tenfold. William smiled, a deep sense of admiration settling in his chest. That's a powerful lesson, Thomas chuckled. It is, and it's one that applies to more than just business. It applies to life. We get what we put in. If we give kindness, we receive kindness. If we share wisdom, we gain more in return. And if we believe in ourselves, others will believe in us too. The 2 men stood in silence for a moment, letting the weight of the words settle between them. The world around them buzzed with movement. Cars honking, people chatting, a street musician strumming his guitar. But in that moment, nothing else seemed to matter. Finally, William extended his hand again, shaking Thomas's firmly. I'm honored to have played even a small part in your journey. Thomas grinned. You played a bigger part than you know. With that, the 2 men parted ways, each carrying a lesson in their hearts. The lesson that sometimes the greatest change starts with the simplest shift in perspective. As William walked away, he couldn't help but smile. It wasn't often that life gave you the chance to witness a true transformation. And as he glanced up at the sky, he felt something he hadn't in a long time, a deep sense of hope. The lesson of the story. This story is a powerful reminder that success is often a matter of perspective. Many people, especially in their later years, might feel stuck, as though they've run out of opportunities. But the truth is, transformation is always possible. Mindset shapes reality. The way we see ourselves dictates